Welcome back to ACC Spring Meetings in Amelia Island. I'm Roddy Jones, and pleased to be joined by the new head man of the athletic department at SMU. Damon Evans joins us. Now, it's a rare occurrence that a Georgia guy and a Georgia Tech guy sit down, and we're not going to talk any clean old-fashioned hate. But Damon, thanks for doing this. Welcome to Spring Meetings. Welcome to ACC.
First, I'm going to give you a pass, and I'm going to say sorry for what we've done to you guys. But
it hurts. It hurts.
There's one school there. Just mess with you. It's good to sit down with you.
Well, thank you for doing this. Why SMU? You were at Maryland, a great gig in a power conference in the Big Ten. Why the move to SMU?
You know, I've gotten that question a lot, and I tell people this: why not SMU?
Yeah.
When I look at the opportunity there, the commitment of the fans, the people, the alums, the president, the board of trustees has been simply remarkable. And then when you take a look at President Jay Hartzell, the incoming president-elect, I'm excited to work with him. But then you look at the history of a president who's been there for 30 years. And this institution is on the rise. We're really elevating the institution. You saw what Rhett did last year in football. And I'm just excited about the opportunity, the alignment, and I think we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg.
I could not agree more. You mentioned the leadership change at the top. New president coming over from the University of Texas, which was a massive coup that sent shockwaves through all of collegiate, not just athletics, but the scholastic side as well. What's it like for you when you've got a new leader coming in? You're not quite sure what that relationship is going to be. What's that like from your seat?
Well, I'm excited about Jay Hartzell. I had a chance to sit down with him during the interview process, and we hit it off right away. And I said to myself, that's someone I want to partner with. That's someone I want to work with. His vision for the academy as a whole and athletics being a part of that was significant to me. He understands that athletics can utilize its platform to promote higher education. So he understands the value of it, and I understand the value of education. So I think I know it's going to be a great relationship and look forward to working with him.
I have no doubt about that. The thing that really stands out to me, getting to know SMU, I did a few of the games when they were in the American transferring over, and obviously through the first year of the ACC, being around the program a little bit, being around Red a little bit, but just seeing the commitment overall. Like that is the first thing I think of when I think of SMU from an athletic standpoint right now. It's commitment. You coming over certainly shows that commitment because there had to be a pitch to get you to leave a great situation. Since you have been there, what has been the response from the people around in terms of the commitment and how driven they are to get SMU to the top of college athletics?
The commitment is like none I've seen in quite some time. I'm just going to be very, very candid. There are a lot of programs that are committed, but this institution, the people that are in the leadership positions, they have a want to, and they have a know-how. They know how to get it done, and they're not going to let anything stand in their way. Finding a way into the ACC was significant for this institution. I call it Mustang momentum. The momentum is just, it's off the charts. And when you have people who are not only committed, but are in full alignment, that means the university community, the campus, the surrounding community, Dallas and so forth, and the board of trustees, that gives you an opportunity to do some great things.
Yes, it does. The Mustang momentum coming off a college football playoff berth is certainly there. But you went out and made a hire in women's basketball that I think maybe even in women's basketball circles has gone underrated in terms of the splash that she could be. Adia Barnes comes over from Arizona. You got her from her alma mater to come to SMU, a woman who made a Final Four not too long ago. When you showed her that commitment, why Adia, and why was she willing to come and buy into SMU?
Since I've joined SMU, I've come up with this mantra called think big and be bold. When you look at the steps that have been taken, going out and getting President Hartzell, you got to think big and be bold. Going out and getting Andy Enfield to leave USC, and then saying, let's go join the ACC as well. And then on top of that, I said, I need to follow suit. I'm going to go after someone I think who can really elevate our women's basketball program, who's proven it, who's been to the mountaintop, almost won that national championship. And Adia, when we sat down and interviewed candidates, she fit that mold of what we're trying to accomplish. and I couldn't be more excited than to have her join in our program.
Yeah, you've got a really unique perspective on some of the topics that are going to come up during these spring meetings, one of them being 8 versus 9 conference games, and I'm sure a litany of other things. Your experience in the Big Ten and seeing how things were done in that conference, how will that inform how the topics that'll be brought up in the spring meetings?
Well, I think I bring a good perspective. First and foremost, there are some great athletic directors in this conference. I look forward to working with my colleagues. I've known all of them for quite some time, but having worked in the Big Ten and the SEC, and most recently sitting in those Big Ten and SEC ADs meetings and what we're talking about, I can bring some of that knowledge, some of what's going on in those conferences, and try to impart any wisdom that I might have, which is very, very little.
I was going to say extensive. It might take up the whole meeting.
But no, at the end of the day, I want to make sure that we do what is in the best interest of the ACC and our member institutions in order to compete in this ever-changing and dynamic landscape. Yeah.
Damon Evans, athletic director of SMU, joining us. There was just a big announcement coming from the hilltop. SMU, LSU, a home-and-home series for, I believe, 26 and 27, or is it 27 and 28?
I think it's 27, 28. Don't hold me to that.
27, 28. The near future.
The near future.
Why are series like that important for SMU from a football standpoint?
Well, anytime you can play an institution such as LSU, I mean, the storied program that they have, national championships, a member of the SEC, I think it's good for college football. And we're telling people we're not afraid to play anybody. We're going to step out there. We're going to play people. We want people to know that we're here and that we're serious about contending for national championships. And that shows you what Rhett Lashley believes in. He believes in his team. He believes in scheduling opponents like this, just like I do. So it's going to be good for college football. It's going to be good for SMU and LSU. And hopefully it'll be a SMU victory.
We in ACC country certainly hope that. I did the college football playoff game last year up at Penn State, and having done the American Conference Championship game the year before when Rhett and his team were there and won it at Tulane, it was a cool moment to sit there with him on that field and say, hey, last year we were talking before the American Conference Championship. Now we're talking before 106,000 descend upon Happy Valley. What's that like? So and the attitude there, I think it's certainly emanates from him of wanting to play anybody. When you look for those matchups, how important is it to have someone who regionally is close enough for a fan base to drive? Because I think that's going to be an awesome environment when they come to town, both from your fans and obviously LSU is going to travel. Is that something that you look for, or was that just something that happened in this iteration of scheduling and you'll look nationally going forward?
Well, anytime you sit down and you look at schedule, you're going to look at all the factors because you want to schedule. You want to be strategic in scheduling. You want to make sure it's a high caliber opponent. In this case, it's LSU. They've got a great fan base. They've got a good recruiting base as well, area to recruit from. So if you can go in there and play a team like that and get a win, it opens the eyes of those young men who are coming out of that area. So we looked at a whole slew of things. But at the end of the day, when you talk about LSU, you have to talk about how great they are as a program, and we're excited about the opportunity.
Also, this is me saying this, not you at all. So do not misconstrue it. It's also close enough for guys that want to look somewhere else and transfer. This is not that long a drive to go from Baton Rouge to Dallas. So they may see the hilltop and think, it's not so bad here.
Hey, you always got to. We're always recruiting.
Yes, ABC, always be recruiting.
And always be closing is what I tell people. Because people love to recruit. It's like you can be a friend raiser or a fundraiser. I like the fundraiser who's bringing in money, and I want those coaches that are closing like Adia Barnes. So it does present a great opportunity with the portal, and we'll see what happens.
That's how I ended up on this side. I was in sales. I was a friend raiser, not a fundraiser. So we had a great time. The voice that you hear now is Adia Barnes, the new women's basketball coach at SMU. I just asked Damon, you were at a place where you'd had tremendous success on knocking on the door of a national championship, Final Four appearance. It was a place where you are a legend, having been an All-American, Pac-12 Player of the Year, but you leave Arizona and come to SMU. Why?
I think a lot of great opportunities. I think the first thing was Damon. I watched just his vision and what he did at Maryland and Georgia. And then I think just thinking of all these ways that you can be successful and win a championship. The first thing is Dallas is an amazing city, and Highland Park is even more amazing than Dallas. You don't like you go to Dallas and you go to Highland Park, you're like, wow, this is even better. Highland Park, University Park's beautiful. Texas is a powerhouse. You can recruit in your own state and be successful, and that's rare. I don't know of any other state that's like that and has so much talent in state. And then just all the excitement around SMU. I think, the president from Texas, you steal Damon from Maryland, coaches from USC. There's just so many great coaches, and the momentum's there, and they really care, and they want to build something special there.
Yeah. Damon, before we let you go, the optimism is certainly, you can feel it with everyone around SMU, but you lit up just a second ago talking about the food scene in Dallas. So for both of you, what have been your early impressions of the food scene in Dallas?
Hey, from my perspective, it's been unbelievable. I'll be candid with you. And my wife and I, we like to go out and eat now. Yeah. So we found a couple spots that we like, but we're still exploring. But that's the great thing about Dallas. There's so much to take in and so much to find out there, whether you're in Lower Greenville, Uptown, Downtown, Highland Park, wherever you might go, Knox, Henderson, there are good places to eat.
Yes, there are. Adia?
Well, I haven't been to as many places because I've been in transition, but it's just, you can get everything there.
Yes,
I think there's food. If you want the WNBA, NBA, there's everything in Dallas. So I got to get some food recommendations. So I know who to call.
Well, based on the prior conversation, you've got plenty of them.
Well, I'm going to ask Adia to take me out to dinner. Right? It would be nice, but I'm so happy she's here. She's an all-star. She fits with what we want to do at SMU, and I'm just glad she decided to join us.
Well, it's awesome. Thank you for joining us as well. We
appreciate you, my friend.
Adia, the transition, you mentioned that you're in transition, and transitioning nowadays is much different than when you took over at Arizona.
Very different.
You basically have no team, and you've got to form your team. As of last count, there were 10 transfers coming in. How would you characterize the difference in terms of how you have to approach things now as opposed to when you took over your prior job?
Well, I think the first thing is it's a lot easier now than I'd say 5 years ago because of the transfer portal and the way people move and how much more you can move faster.
Yeah.
And I think it's also different because of revenue share.
Yeah.
So now you could get a recruit from, you could make a phone call and give a dollar amount and get a recruit. Years ago, you couldn't do that. You would have had, everybody would come on a visit. And I can tell you, we signed 13 players in a matter of like 7 days.
Wow.
And then if you look, I did bring 3 players from Arizona, but the other players, like 6 of them hadn't ever seen campus.
Wow.
So you can show pictures and they're like, oh, it's great, but it doesn't even come down to that anymore. I think it's all transactional now versus relational. So it's completely different and it's easier than it was before.
I was going to ask, is that good or bad? It's easier to get players, but it may affect some of the feelings when people get there. I don't know. Is it good or bad?
I think it's good and bad. I think it's bad because you can lose a player that fast.
Yeah.
So while you're also at the end of the year, sometimes at the end of the season, their minds are elsewhere. They're thinking about this. Who knows who's been selling them or offering their AAU coaches money. So that's hard. I think on the flip side, you can get good really fast. Mm-hmm. If you look at teams like NC State, you look at every top program. LSU is a great example. You can get 2 or 3 players and go to a championship. It doesn't, I think it's a little different from men's basketball in that sense. So you can get bad real fast and you can get good real fast. When you're in a transition, we're going to have in a couple of weeks, 15 players, just like that. I think before that would have taken a long time and you're recruiting players since 8th grade. So it's just completely different.
Yeah. Yeah. And there were those frustrations. When a coach got hired and you had players leaving, it was understood that it was going to be a couple years before this team we're going to be young and then we're going to grow them.
And now you don't have that luxury. So also I think that also the downside is I don't think administrations will be as patient overall.
Oh, yeah.
I think there will be a little bit more, okay, well, you have the resources, you can get better fast, so results, which is fine, but I think that's what we signed up for.
Yeah.
That's the exciting part for me, having like 15 new players, being in a new place, moving there, then the players coming 2 weeks later. I think that's all fun. It's a challenge. It's what we live for. Yeah. It's the thing you want to build. So I think it's also super exciting with a lot of opportunity.
I can feel the energy and the positivity coming from you here, the excitement about it. When you look at this league, a league that has had a lot of success on the women's side. What have your impressions been from afar about the ACC and the women's side?
Well, it's so different. It's funny because it's my third conference in 3 years, which is crazy. I would have never thought that. I went Pac-12, then I went Big 12, and then ACC, and they're all so different. Like the Pac-12 style was so different. Then the Big 12 was like so much more post-oriented. Now I'm going to a polar opposite, the ACC. Watching from afar, a lot of talented coaches. You know, Jeff Walls, Kara Lawson. I think there's just so many great coaches in this conference. But it's a total guard league. Yeah. It's a lot smaller. You have to be a lot more athletic on the perimeter. But I think for the way we play, I think it's also going to be great. I think we've always played faster. We like to get up and play defense. So I think it kind of suits us. But now it's a totally new team. They got to put all those pieces together. But I think it's exciting. I think it's a great conference, and it has great leadership. And I'm just excited that to be a part of it. You
mentioned the 3 players that you're bringing over from Arizona. How does that help how does that help you communicate your culture and your style of play early on when you have so many new faces?
It helps a lot because they're familiar with what we do. One of the players is from Germany, and she's not going to be there the whole summer, so that doesn't help. But we have Paulina Paris, who was actually in the ACC before, so she's going back to the ACC. She was at North Carolina, then came to us last year, so she has some familiarity with the conference. But I think it just helps as far as they kind of know the drills we run. They kind of know, they have an idea of what we're looking for and how to be a leader. And I think one of the biggest things is getting that chemistry right. It's like a puzzle, trying to fit all these pieces of the puzzle together. And I think that's exciting. But so you get to see what you can do with all new players and new culture, and while learning an institution.
Yeah.
It was funny because when we were at, we were on the hilltop and we were driving around looking at campus. For the first couple of visits, it was my campus tour too.
Yeah.
So I was going around like, okay, this is there. Oh, where's that? Oh, I don't know. I've never been here either. It was kind of like the first 3, it was my tour. I still haven't seen everything. So it's just an exciting time with tremendous opportunity, with great leadership, and a place that really wants to be good.
Yes.
And I think when you have all those things, especially in investing in a women's program, when you have people that decide, okay, we want this women's program to be good, and that's one of the reasons why I came. I think for me, I got to love who I work for. I got to be aligned with who I work for and want to do it. Like, like we have other skills.
Yeah.
So I think that wanting to do that with the right people, I think the sky's the limit.
Yes, it is. And the commitment certainly is evident at SMU. Getting an Adia Barnes, getting Andy Enfield, re-upping Rhett Lashley and making sure that he's going to be getting Damon Evans, getting Jay Hartzell, like all of it. All of it is certainly shows the Mustang momentum, as Coach or as Damon calls it. Well, Adia, really appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much for doing this. Best of luck this year.
Thank you.